I'm like 10 people packed into one body.
Implies a fair degree of sociopathy.
Just the way the girl acted. I mean, how can you do something to your mother and lose your mother and just act like that?
And I don't believe that I'm in the right place to get the help that I need.
She now doesn't have a language beyond manipulation and retaliation.
I don't believe I deserve as many years as I got.
I've made a lot of mistakes through my life. I have a lot of regrets. Because I knew there was no going back, even if I wanted to.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. GypsyRose Blanchard has been pretty busy putting out a few fires that are now occurring in her life. She's pretty much doing anything and everything except taking care of her family. Yeah, no time for that in between worrying about getting banned on TikTok, reporting the snark group on Reddit a million times per day because that is her highest priority, or at least that's what she says. Drama with Ryan Anderson, going live, all of those things are far more important, especially the whole TikTok ban thing. That's gonna really throw a wrench in GypsyRose Blanchard's plans. Obviously, she's really got into her influencer era. And, you know, of course, with Gypsy, she has a little bit of a habit of repeating the same patterns in life, probably because she keeps making the exact same decisions, but just at different times. Not surprisingly, she gets the exact same result, which is chaos. So we're going to get into it. We're going to catch up with what GypsyRose Blanchard has been up to, some things that I've noticed, and again, kind of pointing out some of those red flag behaviors that Gypsy has because, you know, they're there and they're pretty much unavoidable at this point. But we're just going to talk about it all. Before we do, though, make sure you like and hit the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with everything I've got coming out on my channel. But let's go ahead and catch up on what's going on with GypsyRose Blanchard. So I'm sure most of you guys by now have already noticed I'm not usually one to like make a video every time something happens with GypsyRose because I just don't care most of the time, and I just don't have the time to literally do that and make a video about every single thing that she does. But there have just been a few events recently that I've kind of had a few, you know, questions, or not really questions, but just like weird vibes about. One of which was Gypsy's major concern with getting banned off TikTok. Obviously, we all know that she's been very straightforward with the fact that she's using this as her income now, but it's very, very odd to me that in all of the times that people have got banned off of, you know, platforms on social media, there is literally never a moment where TMZ runs an article about them. Like, why does it matter that this person who murdered their mother is getting their TikTok banned? Like, who literally cares? This is like the 6th time it's happened. I mean, if we're just being completely honest. And even like less surprising, I guess, is the fact that Gypsy is the one that gave him the comment herself. So Gypsy decided to contact her person at TMZ, like she has a million other times in the past, to tell them that her account has been banned, and she literally did nothing. Which, if we stop and think about it, does that remind anybody of like when she got arrested and she said she definitely didn't do anything then?
I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I didn't do nothing. I'm a good girl. My main account is currently banned, and I have done nothing wrong. I haven't even had a violation in quite some time, and I've only ever had 4 violations in the entire time that I have had the account. So I can only chalk it up to haters mass reporting.
There's multiple instances of that. She would never hurt anybody. She never did anything wrong. She's a perfect little angel all the time. Pretty much the same situation with what we've got going here. she decides to kind of explain what happened, assuming that it's only, it has to be the haters falsely reporting her, whatever, which is funny because she doesn't like it when that happens to her, does she? But she has no problem doing that to anybody else that has an opinion that isn't I Love GypsyRose. Regardless, same thing, she never did anything, but clearly when we can look at her violations, she posted a comment that got her in trouble. And I can't help but wonder if it's anything to do with the fact that she just recently started going back live with Bree and Sheena and all of her other friend group. Probably noticed by now that Gypsy's been hanging out with some other women, I guess like a married couple that have been also babysitting her daughter, and kind of pushed Bree and that whole group to the side. Like literally people kind of forgot about them, if I'm being completely honest, just until recently. Now, I know she's been going through some personal things and had some issues. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of that. I don't really care about that, but it just seems weird that just right around this exact time that she starts hanging out with them again, this is what happens. But anyway, let's look at what she had to say to TMZ. It says, GypsyRose is banned on TikTok, at least for now, after the platform dropped the hammer on her account, but she's telling TMZ the whole thing isn't what it seems. I find it very funny that TMZ said drop the hammer because we know Gypsy lied about her mom taking a hammer to her laptop computer whenever she ran away to be with Dan. You guys remember that? She told that lie like a million times, but kind of switched it up and forgot that she literally texted Nick and said she destroyed her computer herself. Anyway, Gypsy tells TMZ she was hit with a ban after a wave of reporting from other users, but not necessarily because of any new rule breaking on her part. In fact, she says her track record on the app has been relatively clean, only 4 violations in the 2 years she's had her account, and nothing recent that would justify a sudden suspension. Gypsy is no stranger to social media controversy. She was recently flooded with criticism over a comment she made about her late mother. During a TikTok challenge, Gypsy later told us that she was not intending to joke about her involvement in her mom's murder, and she apologized to anyone who was offended. As for the flood of reports that got her booted, Gypsy says that's nothing new. She tells us people have falsely reported her for years, but she thinks her recent surge in content and engagement may have pushed critics into overdrive. Her take? The more she posts and succeeds, the more people want to see her fail. Still, Gypsy's not backing down, telling TMZ they don't realize how resilient I am. Bottom line, ban or no ban, Gypsy says she's not going anywhere. But of course, GypsyRose Blanchard has to show how resilient she is. Although she wasn't resilient enough to just get up and walk out the door, she instead decided to literally shoot her mother 10 times and have a boy literally stab her to death in her sleep. But yeah, she's resilient. And yeah, she definitely deserves to be on social media laughing and making sick jokes on TikTok, and also agreeing with somebody saying that her mom is watching from hell. This is the person that we're supposed to believe feels sorry for what she did. Really. We're supposed to believe that this person really feels guilty or remorse. It's like she cannot help but really reveal who she truly is and what she truly feels. And the only reason that her mother is dead was because she hated her guts, not for any abuse or, life or death situation, no self-defense. No, she just got so angry that she realized that her mother's life did not matter. All that stuff that Gypsy said about working on herself and, working through her trauma and getting therapy and being a better person and not being like her mom was and not being manipulative, scamming, that's the exact same thing she's doing. She's now escalated to being a rage baiter online just so she can get money. She's doing the exact same type of scamming behavior that she was doing with her mom. And Gypsy, being the narcissist that she is so concerned about people potentially saying anything negative about her, which is funny because she literally did the exact same things when her mother was alive. If you go through the Facebook records and stuff like that, you can see whenever anything bad was potentially going to come out about Gypsy, she would lose her literal mind. Like when Dan's mom messaged or sent a Facebook message to the DGyp Facebook profile, Gypsy was freaking out. Probably because Gypsy was posting weird stuff online, inappropriate things online, and it made people feel weird about it. Gypsy, being who she is and being so resilient, she knew that she had to go into her mom's Facebook account in the spam messages and delete it before Dee Dee could ever see it. That's how she wants everything to be. She doesn't want anybody to see the truth. She didn't want her mom to see the truth. She does not want the public to see the truth. Same behaviors. Gypsy messaged Nicholas saying, Dan's mom even messaged Gypsy's mom. Lucky Gyp checked mom's spam Facebook messages. I deleted it, but we need to crack down fast. Okay, like I said, I'll delete that profile. You leave that to me. Okay, scrub this away. Permanently delete the account, please. Same thing. And then here she is talking about how she wants the Reddit group that is dedicated solely to her and keeping a record of all the horrible things that she does and says. She wants that taken down. In fact, she's made it her life mission. And Ken's too, apparently, whether he knows it or not. And we've known this. You know, she had a total, meltdown over the whole thing. She started Operation Cockroach and all of this stuff that was going on over the Snark group and things like that. Going out of her way to copyright everybody, me, every creator, random people that would just share her post online if they were not in a positive way. I don't know how she has the time to sit there and dedicate anything to her child that she so desperately wanted, or I guess needed. You know, and if anything, Ken really should not be worrying about the Reddit group, and he should be worried about who he's in a relationship with that blatantly claimed online that she literally baby trapped him like we all said she did. Oh yeah, she, swore up and down that this was totally an accident and that she would never do that. She didn't want to be like her mom. She knew that, Dee Dee did that with Rod and that this was a whole thing so that Rod wouldn't leave her. And then look what happened. Rod didn't even stay, and she never wanted Ken to feel like he had to stay with her. She would be more than willing to, parent alone because she can do it independently and she doesn't need him, but she wants him to want to be there. She would never purposely get pregnant, especially at that time. She didn't have time to donate to a child. All of that. Yet here she is literally joking about the fact that she baby trapped him. She don't need a ring because a child is for life. That's crazy how the tides have turned.
He's stuck with me for life anyway.
Yep. Right.
A ring can come off, a child cannot.
A child cannot. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on, it'd be like she trapped him.
I trapped him. He's trapped.
Sure did.
Oh, there's the proof. Gypsy trapped Ken.
He's
Everybody's
so
gonna run with that
trapped.
shit now.
He's so unhappy.
Girl, you know they're gonna clip that shit and look at that picture.
That's awesome.
I really love it.
She actually trapped Ken so that it would be easier when I come down and snatch him up and bring him to Tennessee.
What happens if you would get me pregnant? If I was pregnant, he would have to stay in my life and be around.
Are you worried that he'll leave you?
Yeah.
She wants a baby.
What?
To help with fertile, and these are female reproductive vitamins, and they just help with getting pregnant. Basically, I just want to get help getting pregnant, so taking the vitamins will help me get pregnant. I'm only fertile for 6 days out of a month.
Before I got pregnant, or before I knew I was pregnant, I was taking prenatal gummies because they taste good. Like, they taste like candy. So I was already taking prenatals before I even knew that I was pregnant. So I was like, when I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, thank God, I was already taking prenatals. That's awesome. So to me, they were like candy.
Pregnant was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected. I was on birth control pills and I forgot to take them.
I don't want him to have resentment towards me for how fast everything moved. Like I told him, I don't want him to stay because of the baby. I want him to want this relationship to work.
A month right after she left, Gypsy texted me a bunch of pregnancy tests and said she was pregnant. Okay, well, who's the father? And it could have been me or Ken at that point. So she didn't know. She was like, I don't know. The previous month, she sent me pictures of pregnancy tests. But this time, there's no pictures, no proof. And so, like, I don't know what to believe. Like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that. Like, secretly, Gypsy and me were trying to get pregnant.
And of course, Sheena has to make some weird joke about Ken, which, whatever. But she can sit there and act like she's joking or just saying that to be funny, but she's speaking the truth. We're not stupid. She literally did the exact same thing with Nicholas, she probably even tried it with Dan. The way that girl, who apparently was so delayed and had no life experience, knew how to track her ovulation, knew how to do all of these things, knew to take prenatals, knew about all these different little, methods or even wives' tales about how to anticipate the gender that you might have for a baby. All of this stuff that she was doing when she was totally clueless and isolated to the world and stuck playing with Barbie dolls. I don't remember freaking OBGYN Barbie. Where's that at? You know what I mean? Like, how did she learn all of this stuff if she was really as clueless as what she said? No, she's manipulative. That's all there is to it. And I can't help, I feel like you can definitely see how much Ken has changed. And I don't even mean it like in a hurtful way, but like just overall, his whole aura and being has just changed significantly since being with Gypsy. As if she plays it off like, haha, I'm so much to handle, yada, 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 but he loves it. I think it's probably something to be concerned about. I can't help but wonder what his family thinks about how his life is going. Like, he just doesn't even seem like the same individual in such a short period of time that it's incredibly noticeable. But I don't know, maybe life is just hard for Ken now. He's been maybe working more and probably taking care of the baby more than what he expected to. I'm sure he probably kicks himself knowing that he got Gypsy pregnant the first weekend that he saw her after she got out of prison. Getting with a girl and getting her pregnant just for her to literally not care about her baby at all. As this Redditor here pointed out, she took girl mom off of her bio and put influencer instead. Her daughter was never a priority, and that's such a good catch. If she was so, if being a mother was so important to her, you would think she would care. I think that would be one of her top identifying qualities, but no, it's really not, because she only ever really talks about her baby when she's using her in a video or something, or, as an accessory. Not anything related to motherhood. Which, again, she said she didn't want to be like her mother. She went too far to the opposite end of the spectrum. Dee Dee is there on stage saying that she was literally born to be Gypsy's mother. And Gypsy is here pretending she's not a mother. I don't really even know what's going on here. So I'm sure that has a lot of, plays a big role in what's going on with Ken. Speaking of, another man that was totally destroyed by GypsyRose, Ryan Anderson decided to go onto TikTok as well and kind of, get his feelings hurt because Gypsy unfortunately called him a clout leech. Which, first of all, how crazy is it that Gypsy literally thinks that Ryan is a clout leech when she's just a freaking well-known murderer? How wild is that she just thinks that she's truly a celebrity and that he's leeching off of her clout? It's funny, but Ryan, at this point, he's not really done anything, and I've got to the point where I don't ever watch anything about him. I did watch his last, or I don't know if it's his last two or just two videos. I've seen two videos of him recently, just because he was talking about this situation and what he had to say about Gypsy, because he was really butthurt over this comment. And, understandably, understandable. I feel like, for at least a while, they've kind of just been very silent and nothing's really been going on back and forth. We know that Ryan will forever be in love with Gypsy and obsessed with Gypsy and will probably go to his grave protecting her. But that didn't stop him from trying to pretend that he might one day maybe say something.
Hey, it's me, Ryan. I always say, hey guys, but I'm just not in the mood. I haven't been going live lately. I've been processing a lot of stuff. Somebody sent me a message. It said my ex-wife now called me a clout leech. A clout leech. All right. Who the hell are you kidding? Everybody in your life are clout leeches, not me. I got more information on you than anybody, and I ain't never spilled it. I released one text, and you said I betrayed you. Now, I released that one text where you asked me if I was dating Amber J because you were telling everybody in the world how pathetic I was. saying how I won't leave you alone. You know what? You remember that video that you filmed me in the kitchen just out of the blue? We were having an argument. And you said, well, you should have known being with me, everything's going to come to light. Okay. All right. Well, let's let it come to light. So I'm a clout leech. I've done everything in my power not to be considered that by you. If I wanted to be a clout leech, I would do a hell of a lot more, because you know I got a lot more. You know, I've lost 2 jobs because of Gypsy. 2 teaching jobs. Despite what y'all think. All right. I didn't get fired from my last job for tardies, despite that's what y'all think. I got let go because my ex-wife decided to tell the whole world something very personal about me in recovery. Let me tell you something, girl. Let me tell you something, world. I got 15 years of clean UAs. I can back that up with records. There ain't nobody in your life, Gypsy, that can say that. Nobody in your life can say 15 years of clean grow screens. And that includes your baby daddy. That includes your best friend who say, I'm a clout leech. Girl, she's getting arrested for math, and she's sitting there going, I'm an advocate for GypsyRose, help me. I'm the clout leech. And then you do videos with this 23-year-old girl for what, clout? I'm the clout leech. All right, let's let things start coming to light. Because, I mean, the reality is, you think I'm shit anyway. And I've been the only one that's been true to you this whole time. I mean, I've released 1 text and you said I betrayed you. You've done so much to me. And the information that she released, she felt so bad she did a 10-minute apology video. I saw something also from that clout leech clip. Gypsy said that she dodged a bullet with me and Ken's 100 times better. Yeah, 100 times better. He's 100 times balder and he's 100 times gayer. But you think that's better? I mean, I guess it's okay. Everybody's gay a little bit, I guess. I mean, you were in prison, but what's his excuse? I mean, you know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. 100 times better. Okay. How many times he threatened to come grab the baby from you? Didn't he do that on your first Mother's Day ever? Didn't he like leave you and say, I'm coming to grab the baby on your very first Mother's Day? And that's better? Damn, your definition of better is messed up, like batshit out. Oh yeah, you're listening to Christy. That's why. Delusion. That's right. Yeah, 100 times better my ass. I would never have done that on your first Mother's Day. Come to threaten to take your daughter away on your very first Mother's Day. That's better? Everybody knows what's better. But whatever.
It's funny because he does bring up Gypsy's 10-minute apology video. And since, you know, we've all seen that was pretty much a huge train wreck. It was incredibly embarrassing. You know, the whole thing was just ridiculous. But since these recent FOIA videos have come out, it's so crazy how that video that she made for Ryan is nearly identical to the videos that she would make for Nicholas Godejohn. Like, identical. And then for her to sit there and post them for the entire world to see, it's crazy. Like, if we put them side by side and listen to how she's acting and the way she's crying and all of that, it's the exact same thing that she was doing to Nicholas Godejohn every time that they'd get into any sort of little tiff or she'd upset him or do something weird or wrong or snap at him. Same exact thing. After prison, after having a baby with another man, getting a divorce from Ryan Anderson, she's posting this 10-minute long video crying in front of the entire world because that's how dedicated she is to manipulating people.
But please, please don't take Nick away from me. You have no idea what it's like to find your soulmate and then be faced with almost losing them. I can't. Everyone else leaves me. I don't understand it. What is wrong with me that nobody can love me? And he's the only one that does. I swear I won't freak out again. I swear that I will be a perfect girlfriend. Demona has something she wants to say. Master, please believe Gypsy when she says that she is sorry, that she won't freak out and do anything wrong again. She loves Nick with all her heart, and she loves you too. And so do I. I love you, and I love Nick. And to lose you both would be the end of my life. I would kill myself, I would, because I have no reason to live without either one of you. I have plans, and every plan that I have includes you and him. My future,
My life, my happiness, everything depends on you and him.
And it's so hard to see what you have become. So yeah, I get mad, I get frustrated, I get angry because I know that that's not you. Where's the person that came to visit me when we had an argument and I told you don't come, and then you showed up anyway? Where's the person that was there for me whenever my parents were on the edge of a divorce? And Christy didn't pick up the phone for 3 weeks. And you were all I had. You think I forgot about that? I haven't. I hate that we keep doing this back and forth, trying to hurt each other. But we're not trying to hurt each other. We're trying to hurt each other's reputations. I hate the fact that we are trying to be at war with each other. But I know I just want the best for you. I want you to be happy. I want you to move on. I want you to move on with someone that's going to make you happy, that's going to love you like you should be loved. And I know that it's hard because I get it. I did you wrong, and I'm sorry for that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gypsy didn't post half of those videos on Facebook that she was sending to Nicholas Go to John as well. Because, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising at all. So, like, when I saw that, I just could not help but think, like, God, it's so crazy seeing how she's still doing the exact same things. And, like, now that we're getting more information, it's so easy to pick it out and see what she's doing. But, my God, she is truly forever stuck in with who she was before the murder. She's that forever. Like, there is no changing whatsoever. No fixing it. Nothing. But, you know, I was going through, because I've been doing some other stuff that I plan on using for another video that's, like, far more in-depth than what this is about. This is just kind of talking. But, you know, I was going through and listening and reading her book again to try to pick up on a few things. And there's a few moments in Gypsy's book, or her, you know, audio version, where she sits there and says that, you know, while she was in prison, and probably honestly before, she was like a detective with her pattern recognition and, you know, being able to identify these things and pick up on these little things that other people wouldn't, you know, obviously notice. You know, it reminds me, like, Gypsy freaking out about this whole TMZ thing, or not TMZ, but like her account being banned, because I feel like she feels threatened by it in a way. She feels like she's being silenced, as if she's not able to put herself out there in the world and let, you know, everybody know that she exists and that she's amazing. And that's like a threat to her almost. And I think whenever she's talking in her book about how, you know, the last straw was that her mother was going to silence her. You know, she was going to cut her throat by a surgery and make it to where she could never speak again, and she would be silenced forever. You know how dramatic that whole thing was? If you don't remember, I'll play you a little bit of it.
I hadn't asked Nick to kill my mother. People really want to know, what was the final straw? When was the moment when I decided it was her or me? Here you go, y'all, on page 3. 1 month before the murder, my mother tried to cut my throat. At least, that's how I saw it. The cause of concern, suddenly, was my voice. It's so high-pitched. It's so squeaky. My mother complained to my ear, nose, and throat specialist. No matter my sassing, we were going to go ahead and meet with the pulmonologist the ENT had just recommended, though we both knew very well I didn't have sleep apnea. In fact, by this point, the entire ruse had been up between us for a while. I was 23 and had tried to run away twice. I'd shot her with a BB gun. She'd chained me to the bed. I was getting older and much harder to control. The older I got, the more physical and harsher her punishments became. She stopped letting me use my custom-made Jazzy HD power wheelchair because she couldn't control it.
But I think a lot of it, which we know that didn't even happen, by the way, like, main point, never happened, was never scheduled. She just randomly said that, like, years later. But I think there's some truth in that where she's talking about it. She doesn't like to be told to be quiet. She doesn't want anybody telling her she needs to stop or she can't do something. It's like a literal threat to her. It's a personal threat to her. So even her TikTok getting banned, it's like a personal attack on who she is. Even if like half the time it's done by like AI or whatever, this is personal to her. That's why she's automatically assuming it must be people that hate her. They've caused this. It couldn't possibly be anything that she's ever done, you know? She has a right to be there and you can't force her off the internet. You know, you're not going to get rid of her that easy because the thought of her having to be quiet and not be the center of attention is literally detrimental to her. But that's going to be it for this video. I want to know your thoughts on everything that's been going on with Gypsy, whether that be about Ken or what's going on with Ryan Anderson. All of it, you know how it is. I always want to know your opinions and your thoughts on everything that she's been up to. And make sure you stick around for this next upcoming video that I've got coming because it's going to be very, very good. I've spent a lot of time going and organizing information so I can give a very, very in-depth video that I think will be very, very good, especially to those that are very confused about the case or don't understand why this is important or how Gypsy lied, as far as like establishing all of GypsyRose Blanchard's lies in a timeline. So be sure to look out for that. But in the meantime, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on every single bit of it. So be sure to drop it down below in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button. Feel free to share or hype this video as well. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!